Salim is a friend. We went together 5 days ago to Louisiania to see the exhibition in Arabiske, the contemporary Arabs. We went there together, but now he went alone again, spent 4 hours in the show, tried to understand what is this exhibition about. What did you find out going by Louisiana in this exhibition?
Well, my visit to Louisiana, I saw some points about the exhibition. These points I can talk it about artistical points, some political, social and commercial points. First of all, I want to talk about the artistical points. When money includes the art, that's sorry. But I can give some examples. I can't buy something and call it art when it's paid. In my point of view, the art should be made by own hands, and I will be proud if Arab people had done these architectural things by own hands. We can see in an example of Saudi Arabia, which had a big place of the exhibition, the towers, the crystal towers, and the huge clock tower, and the foreigning ministry. Well, there is architectural sites in it, but it was paid and made by Western hands.
Yes,
this is number one. Additionally to that, the island with the lights in a part of Qatar, which belongs to Qatar, it's also made by Western hands. And the island of the Emirates, a logo, the round one, artificial island, it also paid and made by the West. So, in my point of view, I can't say that this is the art when it's paid for others or by others. This is number one, and I can go to the second step, which is the social, where the Egyptian photograph has some pictures, a collection of pictures, which reflects how poor society in Egypt, according to Arab countries or other countries. And it's a neighborhood as an exhibition to the Gulf countries. We can see how big difference about the poor people and the high life people. The Gulf countries had occupied a big area in the exhibition as half, I can say, where other countries the second half.
Maybe, do you think they make this exhibition not to show the Arab world, but to sell Danish product to the rich Arab countries?
Well, I see that's the commercial point here. It is shown things more than art things. It's like advertisement for tourism, to sell and to make money. That's the point I don't like in it. When we see the different beautiful buildings, areas, it calls the Western just come here and enjoy. That's when there is a mix between money and art. Arabs would like to make this business with the West, regardless what they have in reality. For traditions, they have their own works. It reflects actually the negative side of the culture.
So actually an exhibition pretending to show the Arab culture to people like me or Danish people actually is showing a wrong image, or what?
No, they are showing the right image, but it's not the architectural image or the artistical image so much as the commercial image. They give the another side.
So actually, this show could have been in Bella Center or in Fields or Fisketorp.
Exactly. It will rather be in Bella Center, so or in Fields for shop things than in the museum.
So the museum now is not a museum anymore.
Well, it is, but I mean in this section, when there is commercial things in it, then it lacks the value of the museum and the shown things.
What do you think? Which public they want to reach? Did they make this show to please some rich Saudi prince, or do they make this show for normal Danish people?
They want to show the Saudi prince and the Saudi high life culture and inviting the Danish people and especially or the Western people generally to come and to see how we are, what we have, how much we paid to make our country. But I say it again that these things are paid. One thing I want to turn back to it, which I forgot. When we talk about architectural things in the Arab world, and we show the big towers, the crystal towers, the fantastic buildings everywhere, especially in the Gulf countries. Well, what about Palestine? The Jerusalem, Al-Aqsa, there is the best architectural work in Jerusalem. Its mosques and its churches. Why there were no place, nobody talk, nobody show about these places? This is political. Why they ignore it? So this point has a relate to the political point, especially in the entrance. That time when we went to the exhibition, we find the map of the Arabic world and with the Western world, where Israel in the middle of the Arabic world. We talk about that point. This means for me that 22 Arab countries agreed by some way to take Palestine off from the map. It's my point of view.
I don't understand. You mean that 22 Arab countries are on the same, are not helping?
Yes, agreed to ignore the role of Palestine.
Why?
Because, as I mentioned, no things about Jerusalem, yes, its mosques and churches, yes, because the most architectural works could find in Jerusalem, but they ignored it.
Yes.
Nobody talked about it. Additionally to the map, turning back to the map which we saw about Israel and the gray color and not the dark color like that, we talk about it. In a way, they agreed to ignore Palestine from the map, to ignore Palestine from its cultural side, from what happened. Nobody talked about it. We talked about money and buildings and so many things in the Gulf countries, while in the other Arabic countries, which is poor, they talk about revolution, about Tunisia and Egypt. By the way, in Egypt, they talked about the revolution of January, at that time of Hosni Mubarak, and they didn't talk about the coup which happened in June by Sisi. It turns my mind back to the support of Saudi Arabian to this coup, and then as long as they paid for these products, they ignored and not talked about the coup.
So you not...
Sorry. Because the revolutions, I now talk, if was few hundred in that time, the first revolution in Egypt, and they talked about it and about the woman with the blue brow. But in the COP about Rab'a and Nahda squares, there were thousands of victims. Nobody talked about it, nobody showed it. It means that there is a support from Saudi Arabia. So this is business and politics.
So what you are saying, it is business, is one thing, but it's also propaganda. They want to tell one story, but
they want to tell the positive sides,
yes,
and ignore the another side of truth.
So when they claim that this exhibition is the Arab world now, it's not true, because it's a wrong title.
It's a wrong title actually, and they should rather call it the modern Gulf now for tourism, something like that, for commercial, for business. As said, best if they exhibit it in Bella Center. It's like products.
It's not only they want to please and attract tourists, they want to please the rich Saudi Arabia people. So the Saudi Arabia people will see, oh, these Danish people are interested in us. We like them because they are trying to understand who we are, Arabs. And by pleasing them, they hope, the Danish industry hope to get contracts. So if this show works, some company will get contracts in Saudi, maybe for weapons, maybe for buildings, architecture. So the Danish will sell milk, or they will sell things. So it's a charme tour, not to go and spend a night in a hotel, because normally they get that for free. If they come, they get sleeping for free, but for contracts. So it's to attract customers from Saudi to Denmark.
Well,
don't you think so?
Your opinion is true, but it meets with the original point of mine. That when I say about the architectural buildings, the huge things they have, it means money, because they don't have these things if there is not money. And this money deals to make like commercial things with the West or with Denmark about different fields of making a market, weapon, and tourism.
But I don't understand why you are kind of shocked about that, because yourself you work with the advertisement.
Yes.
And you are artists at the same time. So these people, they do the same. They work with art, and at the same time they advertise.
Yes, it is.
Why is it surprising to you?
Last time I told you that there is a difference between the advertisement and art. And I separate them, although they have the same creative side. But here it is a museum, and they have to show the artistical points and sides of things, and not to mix the advertisement in it. That's a problem, because in my eyes, the most of these things looks for business.
Is it censorship in the museum, so they don't show Palestine, or they don't show the Second Revolution?
I think it's this responsibility comes on both the museum and the countries who shared on this exhibition. It's like a special secret, or they agreed something, they hide it from the public.
But this is terrible.
It is. It is, because why we have to lie on people and show them something by calling it art, architect, everything, while in the backstory it has another hidden things.
Yes. But do you think it's because the idea of revolution sells? People like the idea of this politic, and if they had an abstract show, people are not interested. But then they have a political show, so it's more sexy to have political show, even if they fake it. Why do you think they want to do something like that? They could have shown carpets, and the Arab prince will be happy. If it was a carpet exhibition, the prince will be happy. Why do they have to show that Arab revolution in Egypt? First
by
one.
the way, I would like to talk about the carpet and the speakers. It gives a good meaning and the expression for the revolutions in the Arab countries, especially the big speakers, which seems like volcans. It was five, means about the 5 countries where the revolution happened. But it's in a way they will help the revolutions for democracy, but why they didn't continue these helps as they help now the coup of June by Sisi. There is some complicated topics about these political revolutions between the West and the Gulf and the place where revolutions are.